Today, I'm going to talk about Florida's 5-step guide to senior care. And I know we talk about downloading a copy of this a lot, but we've never actually broken it down in a video format in a way that could help you understand what is this guide, what is it for, who is it for. And so we're going to break it down a little bit today, walk through a summary of the different steps, and help you understand why it would be important for you to get a copy of this guide. And so we actually created Florida's 5-step guide to senior care here a few years ago. And my wife and I, when we started in the senior care space, and we actually opened up a small assisted living facility that we lived in for the first 3.5 years. And when we lived in the facility for those years, 3.5 years, we helped hundreds of families walk through the process of finding care for their loved ones. And so there were so many people that came to our place that maybe they weren't the appropriate fit, maybe they couldn't afford our services, maybe it wasn't the right time, but they were like inquiring about something else, they just didn't know where to go, and so they came across us. And so through that situation, I spent time on every single person trying to understand what was best for them. You know, who should they reach out to? Who should they contact? What hadn't they taken care of? You know, what was already taken care of? What did they still need to address? And so through that process, I was able to understand like all the different aspects of senior care. And trust me, it is complex. And I didn't even realize just how complex it was until I had 3 years under my belt of, you know, helping all these families, helping hundreds of families go through this process. And I realized, man, this is, if you are just getting started caring for a loved one, this is intense. It's a lot of information. And so we put together just 5 easy steps to kind of help families walk through the process. And so I'm going to go through that briefly. The first step is, you know, being proactive. What does that mean? Well, do I notice my mom or my dad or my spouse, other changes that are taking place in their life? You know, are they slipping up on the phone? Are they forgetting names? Are they repeating the same stories over and over and over again? I feel like when I'm talking to them, is there a subtle change? You know, do they seem a little bit, you know, weaker than normal? Or did they get into an accident with their vehicle? Are there issues that are causing me to be concerned? And if there are, you know, have I taken a proactive approach in their life? And even if they're not, have I thought about what happens, you know, if this were to happen, right? You know, what's going to happen down the road? What's the future planning of this look like? Because things might be transpiring in their life. They might be suffering from Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease. They might have some other form of dementia. They may be suffering from a UTI. They might be over-medicated. There might be all sorts of things going on in their life that you're not aware of because you haven't dove into those details before. And so we always say, you know, be proactive about it. You know, be proactive about even getting these 5 steps, understanding what's that process look like. What am I up against, you know, when something happens to my loved one? And so the first step is organizing legal affairs, or the second step, sorry, is organizing legal affairs. I'm taking a proactive approach. I'm understanding these cognitive issues. Now step 2, I'm organizing the legal affairs. So I'm looking into, hey, have I taken care of the documents to make healthcare and financial decisions on behalf of my loved one? Does my loved one have a will or a trust? Have they made funeral arrangements? Is there any pre-planning there? You know, so what legal affairs are out there? What are not out there? What do I need so I can act on behalf of my loved one should they lose their cognitive functions? So, you know, if I had to make those decisions on their behalf, who's in charge of that? Is it up to the state, or is it up to me as a family? And if I got a big family, who in the family is doing what? And so it's important to like get this step figured out before we get to the financial planning portion of it, because I can't plan financially for my mom, my dad, or my spouse if I don't have the ability to make the financial decisions or the healthcare decisions. So then step 3 is making a financial plan. Do they have long-term care insurance? Do they have all their stuff tied up into the stock market? Do they have a pension? Do they qualify for veterans benefits? Do they have Medicaid? Do they have Medicare? There's all these things when it comes to the financial components that, you know, I might not even know where their accounts are, how much they even have. You know, I might not even have any idea what the financial status looks like for them. You know, I mean, maybe mom gifted the entire fortune to a church or something. I may not even know that. So it would be important to at least have this discussion ahead of time, because, you know, without being prepared legally, I can't help with the financial planning portion of it. And without knowing the financial planning side of things, I can't make care decisions because I need to understand what can mom or dad or my spouse afford before I can go and choose the right care for them. So now that I've made the financial plan, now I'm like, okay, this is what mom and dad has in assets in their, with their pension and with any other income coming in. And so now I can look at the options when it comes to care, like things such as, home care, daycare, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing facilities, hospice, all the other options out there when it comes to care. What does it cost? Independent living, 55 and up communities, continuing care retirement communities. I know I'm just naming off a bunch of stuff, but there's all these different care options out there and they all have a wide variety of costs, and most of them are privately paid for. So, any of the insurances are going to pay for healthcare related things, but when it comes to long-term care, most of it is privately funded. So it's like, I got to figure out what can mom and dad afford. They may not be able to afford to stay in their home with 24/7 home care. That might be too expensive for them. So we might have to look at, assisted living facilities or senior housing as an alternative to keep costs down. And these are just things that we have to consider. And then step 5 is, choosing the right providers. I mean, we got all these, elder law attorneys and stuff in here, pre-planning funeral arrangements. We got financial services. We got all these care options. So like, how do I even find all these people? We're the Alzheimer's Association up here. How do I even come across the contacts for all these different services? How do I choose those right providers? What kind of sources are available out there for me so things such as like the Seniors Blue Book or things online where they might provide like a directory of all the different services in that local area. Or maybe there's a contact person in your local area that has that does kind of like what we do, where we help point people in the right direction. We're a resource for families, whether they need our services for our care options or they just need help finding another law attorney or a financial planner or talking to a reverse mortgage specialist or a Medicaid, a Medicare insurance agent. We will help point people in the right direction. So is there a point of contact in your area? And so understanding, how do I choose those providers? Where do I go? Where do I find the information for them is another important component to make this work. So this is a summary of our 5-step guide to senior care. We feel like it is so important to go in this order to understand, that you have to take care of, each step at a time before you can move on to the next step, really. And we also understand that some people might have taken care of a couple things in each one of these steps, but it might be a good idea to take a look back at everything and say, okay, well, have I done everything in this step and that step? What am I missing? What things should I work on now to make sure that, again, my loved one, myself and my loved one are prepared. So hopefully this helps. And if you haven't, get a copy of our 5-step guide to senior care. It's completely free. It's a 12-page little handbook. It's super easy to read through. We kept it, really, really simple. And of course, if you have any other questions outside of this video and the guide, give us a call at 941-677-7233. My name is Kris Chana, and I'm the owner of Chelsea Place Senior Care, and your host is Senior Source TV. And I love helping families just like you navigate this complex world of senior care. So we're here to help. Comment, like, share, pass the word on. We want to help you guys out and make this transition a lot easier for you. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.